Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Lott Carey Wise Salt Digital Couch. My name is Doria Larrier. I am your host for this evening, and I hail from Brooklyn, New York, and Salem Missionary Baptist Church is my church. I'm looking forward to having this conversation with you. This is an absolutely amazing day and evening for our episode number 3. We are talking today about youth leading into legacy. Now, let me do the protocol that I know to call on behalf of the Executive Secretary, Treasurer, Reverend Emmett L. Dunn, our President, Dr. Jesse Williams, our first Vice President, Dr. James Victor, our second Vice President, Dr. Robert Scott, and for the women in service everywhere, our leadership includes Reverend Dr. Brenda McBurrow, Sister Lynette Richardson, who is our first Vice President, Minister Brenda Troy, who is our second Vice President, Reverend Brittany Mingo. She's the leader of the youth department. She's going to be on tonight. And Deacon Charles Ontario, who is our Men on Missions team leader. We welcome you. It is just 1 month away from our annual session. If you have not gotten it, this is a little housekeeping. You might want to get your book, right? Rich Christians, sorry, you can't probably see it, but Rich Christians in the Age of Hunger. It's a thick read, but we're going to get it done. We're going to read it because that is the focus of our annual session. We look forward to seeing you in Philadelphia. We're very, very excited. Enon Baptist Church will be our host church. And so we're always looking forward to reconnect with our Enon family and our church family and the mission partners who come literally from across the pond in many ways, shapes, and forms. And so we look forward to that. Registration, if you know, you should actually be giving your confirmation in the next couple of days and hours. So we look forward to seeing you in Philadelphia, whether you are driving or flying or walking across the street, I don't know, but I will see you there. Let's get into our conversation tonight. If you're not aware, just a few days ago, Lott Carey sort of continued its annual calendar of meeting. But this group of meeting people was actually younger people. And so tonight we get a chance to have a conversation with Reverend Brittany Mingo, who is the leader, who does amazing work with our young people. So let's have a conversation with her tonight. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. We are thrilled. Now, before we even get started, I want the protocol to be known. If you are watching, we already have more than like 20 people watching from either YouTube or two Facebook pages, 2 YouTube channels. We shared it a lot of places. Please drop in the comments where you are coming from. Definitely your city, your state, and your church. Make sure you shout out your church, and we will do a roll call. And also, if you know someone or you were there at this conference, definitely shout out Reverend Mingo. Definitely give us some comments, ask some questions about what this is all about, how you can get other young people to participate. Let's get started. Reverend Mingo, it's so great to have you here.
It's good to be here.
It's so great to have you here. All right, already. Yes. Oh, wait, hold on. We have Orange Grove Missionary Baptist Church, Durham, North Carolina. All right. Thank you, Sister Charlene. We appreciate you. And if I don't do this, I can't go home. This is my mom. Hey, Mama. I see you. Reverend Brittany, it's so great to have you here on the couch. You have been, I know you're still recovering. Please let us know what is happening. How was it? Let us know what this is all about. This is the 2025 Annual Youth Seminar. Where were you? What did you take over? Give us like a little background before we hop into our questions tonight.
Okay, so we were so excited to be able to bring back the youth seminar after 6 years. We understand that after COVID, we had not been able to do programming, but it was such a blessing to be able to bring it back in 2025. We were on the campus of Winston Salem State University in North Carolina, and it was just an amazing time. Our focal scripture was Acts 17:6, in which we encouraged the youth to turn the world upside down. And that's exactly what they did. In 4 short days, the kids were engaged. They were very committed. they were just on fire. And so we had a great time. And I believe that as a unit, we really impacted the campus of Winston-Salem as well as the city. And so we just had a great time. And now that we're back, we're just going to keep going year after year. And so we're really excited.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Oh, I think we have family. Who is this? Who is Sister Sarlene?
My mom.
Hey, Mama. The mothers are here. The mothers are in concert. Excellent. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. I just put up the scripture verse, Acts 17:6. I said, turn the world upside down. Disrupt was your title. Excellent, excellent. And good evening, Sister Eileen.
Hi, Sister Eileen.
Saw you in the chat on Facebook. I appreciate you. You made it through the Rebirth of the Youth seminar. Hallelujah. That was a lot of work. So how many people were there? What was the flavor like? What was kind of like the age group? Are these college students? Are these young? What was the lay of the land?
So we had about 100 attendees. Yes, 100 attendees. We were excited. They are teenagers, so from the ages as young as 14 years old, and then we go up to our emerging leaders who are as old as 25 years old. We also had our adult chaperones who were there, which comprised of all ages. It was just a really good time. So basically throughout the day, we engage in missions, we engage in worship, we engage in team building and fellowship activities. They also get to see and explore the campus. From day one, I'll be honest, we're nervous. This is a generation who has never seen or experienced Lott Carey before. And so everyone was new. And that's what we really honed in on. And we wanted people to understand that we're all new here. So this is a safe space. We are recreating and reimagining a long vision and a long tradition through Lott Carey in a new and different way. And I have to say that the churches, the youth, emerging leaders, and chaperones, they came prepared. They were not shy. They were courageous. We had a talent show. We did Church and Out, which is a rendition of Wild and Out. Our kids were just amazing. We had family groups in which allowed different age groups to really bond, and they were broken down by grade. And they really bonded over time, and those are opportunities for discipleship. So it was really good energy. 4 jam-packed days. We are still recovering. Talking to some of my children today, and they're like, we miss Lott Carey, but we're still tired. So, these are long, long days, but we all stuck it out, and we had an amazing time.
Excellent, excellent. So, okay, so you had young high school students. So that's fabulous. So I have a question which is literally going to lead through this entire conversation of, developing a legacy of youth leadership and of youth mission mindedness. I just came up with that, but that's what we're trying to do here. There's so many generations of Lott Carey life that we see at the convention, and where I will see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to something that I've said for the past couple of years, that when I reconnected to Lott Carey after, becoming a parent and growing up young children and coming back, and I noticed that the people that were in my age group, and we're talking about maybe 15 years ago at this point of returning, but my last coming, I literally was a teenager. I think I was like middle school, the beginning of high school. And then seeing the people that were my age group, whoever the president was at that time, told people within a certain age bands to stand up. And out of, I don't know, must have been 1,500 people, maybe there were 9 of us in my age group. And I said, oh my goodness, what happened? What's going on? And so I always think about, how do we grow the new generation? And once they get into the high school, college, where do they go? And when they go, how do we keep them connected? So my question is, the young people who were like 14 through, like you said, like the 25, were any of these young people not children of church Lott Carey mission-minded people?
So I just want to make sure I'm So you're saying, are any of these children whose families did not come through Lott Carey?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. So we had a number of youth whose family were not engaged in Lott Carey. Even from my own church, because 6 years people are joined the church and learning that the church is a part of Lott Carey. So we do have a number of youth and adults who have never experienced Lott Carey. They may have joined their church and found out about it. They may have a family member who told them about it. And so they came in and they were excited. They didn't know what they were walking into, but they knew that they were willing and that there was someone that they trusted that said, hey, we're going to try this out. And I think that's the beauty of it, because we want to, right? Even in the kingdom, we want to be able to reach new people. And I think that when we're able to say, yes, there are people who came who never came before, that means that we are doing the work. We are fulfilling the Great Commission. We had children, not even that weren't coming from homes for Lott Carey. We had children who weren't even coming from homes of believers. And there were children who gave their life to Christ. And so that was amazing. And I think it's beautiful because that's the only way we're really going to be able to grow. I know you grew up in Lott Carey. I grew up in Lott Carey. My mom was introduced to Lott Carey through being a chaperone for myself. My pastor grew up in Lott Carey. So these are different generations, and they have a different view and a different experience, but it's still that same feel, that same fire, because Lott Carey, when we think about the gospel, right? Like the gospel stays the same generation after generation after generation, but the expression of it is different. And the needs of the generations are different. And so it's really exciting to see that Lott Carey is coming and we're reaching people who aren't able to say, well, there are some people who could say, yeah, my church has always been a Lott Carey church. There were a number who were like, this is our first time, or this is our church's first time experiencing Lott Carey. And I think that's beautiful because it's showing the trajectory of growth for the organization.
Excellent. We have, thank you. Good evening, Sister Andrea. We appreciate you. Good. Thank you, Sister Tanya Holmes. It was an awesome experience. So glad to see the return of Lott Carey. All right, Sister Tanya. Well, listen, Sister Tanya, I'm going to call upon you. I need for you to drop some reflections. Maybe drop some little gems in the chat. We might as well give you the link in the back door. You come on in. I will make room for you. There's room at the table. There's room on the digital couch. All right, good. Thank you. Oh, so we have another. Somebody's tap that way. Good evening, Reverend Knight. Excellent. Second Baptist Church. Appreciate you all. Excellent. And I have somebody on Facebook, but it doesn't show up here. Okay. But let me just shout out to Sister Veronica Waddy of Second Baptist Church, South Richmond, Virginia. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, so then you really had this was another ministry moment to reach out to people who are not necessarily like Lott Carey families, which is even a greater. It's like, I almost want to say like that, the one lamb, like the one sheep,
right?
Like the 99, we know they know, but that one sheep, no, I'm gonna go get you.
Yep.
That's who you had. That's beautiful. And of course, we're always looking to make sure that there are more people in the kingdom. So the fact that you were transforming lives and sharing the word in such a way that people were making their own intentional choice to choose Christ, to me, is a trifecta.
Yeah.
You got them on the mission field. Well, first of all, you got them for Christ. You got them within the church confines of the church world. Then you got them, on the mission field. Even better. So talk about some of the mission projects that you worked on while you were there. It's like, who did you impact? Who was impacted by the work?
So one thing, which is a Lott Carey tradition, we brought back was Kids Against Hunger. And Kids Against Hunger gives individuals the opportunity to pack food for children. And Kids Against Hunger services globally, right? And so there have been times before where we've packed for people who lived in Nicaragua. There have been times where we may have packed for people who live in Liberia. all these different places. But we were excited because the food that we packed this week was for those who lived in Winston-Salem. And so we were able to directly impact the community. We also had mission sites where people were packing, folding clothes for drop-in sites for clothing, more meal packing. Kids were helping build things. And so we just kind of had a large variety of different opportunities for the children.
Excellent, excellent. One thing that I really, really love is when there's a teaching moment so that you're connecting young people of a variety of different ages and stages, like developmental stages, to know that, the clothes that you have on your back, you're like triply blessed. And not just the extreme of our parents and our grandparents. Shout out to both of our mothers who probably said, that there are children who don't even have food, right? True story. My parents would say, hey, make sure you eat your broccoli. And I'm sure a number of parents did this. And the kids were like, I don't like broccoli. And they would say, well, there are kids who are starving in Africa. In my 7, 8-year-old mind, I would say, well, then why don't we send them this? Because I don't want to eat it. If you did not say that to your child, you type in the chat that you said that to your child. People, okay, parents of my parents' age. But for us to, of course, and now, like, broccoli is part of my lifestyle. Like, I eat it all the time. So, but that shift of teaching young people that who you are now, there are folks who not even across the world, but who literally could be across the highway, across the major intersection, who are eating differently, or who are, I love the term that we are using, who are housed differently, who are fed differently as a result of decisions today, who will be cared for differently. Let's move
and
on.
We had that conversation with our youth, helping them understand that we are tremendously blessed to be in a position where we may not have to think about what our next meal is. Our choice may be what we want to eat, but not if we're going to eat at all and how we're going to eat. Right. And we share with them that the importance of missions is that we are going out and we are meeting people's physical needs, and then using that as the opportunity to meet their spiritual need by introducing them to the love of Christ. And so we asked them to be reflective, and you could see the wheels spinning in their head and the things that they were saying back, and they left being more grateful for the life that they have been granted, but also more reflective and thinking a lot about how do we make sure we help people moving forward. That this is not one thing that we really wanted to stress during the seminar, that nothing we did was a once in a lifetime event, that this is supposed to be something that we take and apply to our daily lives moving forward. And so we don't just come to Lott Carey in June and August and become mission minded for that week. Right. We are believers. And so we are mission minded every day. And so we really wanted kids to have the understanding that, yes, we have, but God calls for us to give more. And God calls for us to think of the poor, think of the foreigner, think of those who are disenfranchised. And the real gospel is to go out and live a life of social justice, making sure that everyone has what they need.
Excellent. And I love that they see that on a very, I want to say accessible way. So I know the first time that at Lott Carey that I participated in that meal packing, after going out and doing some things, and I kind of came back, I was like, oh, they're still doing some meal packing. Let me get into this. Just the assembly line, the little protein crumbles, and then the rice and putting in the package. And it must have been, shout out to Brother Atiba, who said at the end, like the amount of meals, right? And let's just say the amount of meals was 100,000. I can't remember the exact number. But when I thought about 100,000 meals that we packed in that room, it was magnanimous. And then at the same time, it was minute, because then I was thinking about if we did all this in a concerted effort in a period of, I don't know, maybe it was 6 hours or something like that, then how many other people, how many other places are without, like, even with our 100,000, there's probably 100,064 people who needed to meet that next, right? And then thinking like, wow, we are really, and the younger hands, right, who are doing and who are participating, you literally are feeding somebody. So when you go to McDonald's or you go to Pizza Hut or whatever, and you throw out that extra, guess what? It's not the extreme of somebody maybe in the trash receptacle picking it out, and you're like, oh, how could you do that? Maybe because they don't have the french fry that you just threw away, and you threw it away. Why? Because it was cold. Or why? Because it didn't have ketchup on it. Right. So just our reality is awakening for young people. And I love the fact that you said, like, mission mindedness is not just in June and August, but it is a daily commitment. And first thing that popped up into my head is, I think it's, and I'm not a Boy Scout, but the Scout motto is like, do something good every day. Right. So for mission mindedness, it's not global missions every day, but you can say a prayer for somebody who's on the other side or away from you. But then there's someone who's right next to you, and that's being mission minded as well. So thankful about that. Oh, we have another comment. Wait, let's see. Okay, they visited the rescue mission. There we met a resident who had been drug free for 88 days. Wow, we celebrated him, prayed for his continued progress, and he was blessed by our presence. Oh, I need to marinate on that for a minute. Tell us what that was like. What was that like?
Are
Reverend
you
Mingo.
asking? Are you asking
Are,
so
were
I wasn't with that group. I wasn't with that group to be able to express what it felt on a personal level, but to hear the testimonies that each site had, people being able to share with the children and the youth, this is what my life was like. This is what, and anyone who knows who the rescue mission, they do work with people who
Mm,
have experienced substance abuse, and they have the opportunity to hear their testimonies and their stories, and they are blessed to be able to see how a person can feel like they are at their lowest, but then they come to the rescue mission, they are ministered to, they are given resources, they are given a safe space with no judgment, and then their life is turned around. And so that's what I love about missions as well, because a lot of times, depending on the mindset that people walk into missions, you can believe that you're going to go in and change someone else's world and that you are going to be this angel on earth to someone. However, a lot of times when you're doing missions, you are the one who walks away with the blessing. You are the one who walks away having a conversation with someone who really transforms your way of thinking. I'm hearing a testimony that helps you understand the real power of God and restoration and how we can be redeemed and saved. And so that's just one of the many beautiful testimonies that could be shared about what happened during our mission days.
I literally am having a moment right now because I think about sixth graders who are playing around with vaping
Vaping. Mm-hmm. Vaping.
and other things, and how they think it's cool, and people who are not just skipping school but doing a plethora of things that we as slightly older people are like, you don't want to.
You
And
don't
then
want
to them to hear and to see in real life, someone who's saying, hey, if anybody remembers Scared Straight,
to. Yes. Yes.
the thing that popped into my head was, oh, this is a version of Scared Straight, right? And that younger people, and especially people as young as 14, because I'm always reminded that, let's say for the past 6 years, 4 of those 6 years, they were kind of inside.
Right.
So being oblivious to a population of people that they would not be able to cross paths with as they got on and off the bus. I'm in Brooklyn, on and off the train, walking up and down the main avenues and so forth. We're no longer stepping over,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or whether you're in a train station, you're no longer crawling over or sitting next to the person on the train because you don't see them. But then
Yeah.
the cleanup, quote unquote, which is really just the reshuffling, by whatever the local officials do to place people in certain, again, they're not there. And so now that in this safe space within a ministry minded segment, they get to interact and interface without apprehension of something may go wrong. A
Mhm.
person says, hey, look, I've been clean 88 days. Well, what do you mean you're clean? Clean, what do you mean? Oh no, you were, so this thing that I was, oh wait, it could go like, so I really should rethink.
Absolutely.
And you have a name? And you're gonna tell me the real story?
Mhm.
That's mission work. Like
Right.
that's mission work that really, in my mind, makes a serious impact to young people as they're starting to branch on their own, pay attention more to their phones, which will show them any and everything that you and I probably did
Right.
not have access to, and
Mhm.
then seeing somebody in real life. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I did put in the chat, I think I posted it already, right? Kidsagainsthunger.org. During these next series, I definitely want to make sure that we have references to some of the conversations that we're having. So thank you, Sister Eileen, for sharing that. Okay, I'm gonna adopt your mother as another mother. So Mama Sarlene, okay, right. The youth were better able to understand that clothing insecurity is a real thing, and they were meeting a need as they were sorting and folding clothes. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, right? So the tiny little smudge or whatever, or something that's outdated. Oh, I can't wear that anymore. That was so last year. Or like for me, like, oh, those Tims, that was last year's style. Are you kidding?
Absolutely. And we had conversations with them about, clothing is big for, I don't want to just say youth. It's big for humans in general, right? We're always cognizant of what we're wearing and how we're presenting ourselves to the world, and sometimes to a fault. And helping kids realize, that kid at school who may wear the same pair of pants
Mm-hmm.
multiple times in a week, or that kid who is wearing what you may consider to be outdated clothing, something that might be slightly too big or slightly too small.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who struggle with being able to have access to clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And kids, you could really see them building an understanding and even thinking about. And we ask them real questions like, "Has there been a time? Can you think of a peer in school, in camp, in church, who you may have judged because of how they looked, what they wore?" And thinking, instead of teasing people when they
Mm-hmm.
don't show up the way that you think they should show up, when they
Mm-hmm.
don't have all the designer that you think makes a person, maybe you stop and think, hey, maybe there's a need here. And instead of teasing them, stopping and thinking, okay, how can I help this person? How can I meet that need? And that's what I think you mentioned something about seeing people for the first time. Missions, it is impossible. Think about the story of the Good Samaritan, and how people with titles just walk by him, just walk by him and didn't pay any attention. But when you have an encounter with Christ, and when you give your life to Christ, and when you are walking out the true gospel, it is impossible not to see people. And so maybe when you came to Lott Carey in June, you were able to walk by that person who was asking for food, or you were able to justify why you wouldn't give them money. Maybe you were able to walk by your peer who clearly needed something that you may have had, and instead of laughing at them, now you're unable to do that. And missions helps you see people, helps you see their soul, helps you see them as image bearers of Christ. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so important. It also helps you have humility, because you realize that it's only the grace of God that has you as the one who's able to help, and not the one who is needing the help. And
And
so
of your parents.
exactly. And so it really, it's really, it's really helping you rethink, resituate yourself, help yourself not feel better than anyone. And so that's what I really love about missions. And you could just hear the concern and how children were actively thinking of ways to be a blessing to people right in that moment, but also how they could go back to their communities and be a blessing as well.
Good, good. I think there's more of a shift these days in maybe let's say the past 15 years. And I don't want to isolate just the past 5 years, but the past 15 years of being a community member, whatever the school system, and I'm an educator outside of this. So I wear that hat as well of civic education, right? And social justice on a community level of whether it's you're starting a lemonade stand or you're doing like you're participating in a food pantry or even a number of people during the year just I guess we would say lives but I've had young people who've had their house burned down, no fault of their own, right? Their house burns down, and so depending on the situation, the school will be asked, hey, is there or do you have like slightly used clothes that
Right.
we could share? And the humility of the peers who would probably sort of in other situations like tease or poke fun when they're like, oh, wait a minute, like I was on that block, I saw that. That's devastating. Oh my goodness, that child has, well, my peer has nothing, everything. There's, you would have to be, and I don't even want to use the phrase, your heart would be just have to be so cold
Right.
to still be at a place that you don't have a soul to be empathetic to that person. But outside of that, now we have a number of, and I use the phrase new families, meaning new families from other countries, no matter what part of the diaspora you're coming from, and coming into the country. And depending on the plane that you come in on, right, or the lane, the lane through the airport that you come in on, people read between the lines of access. Um, and then how you show up at a school or show up in the community, and people like, oh, well, they're from there, and they're making judgments. And then you hear some of the stories of how they got from point A to point B, why they left, if teachers or schools, and I'm saying this because we do it in church as well. We see new people on the road. The children may not necessarily be aware of what the story is, and maybe there's no story that's told, but there's a look and there's a judgment and there's a seeing or not seeing. There's an understanding or not understanding.
Right.
It's an opportunity for churches to share with these young people that this is mission work as well, because any and everybody could be in the same situation. Anybody could, God forbid, like lose their home. Anybody or anybody and everybody may have a traumatic situation that occurs in their family, or let's say a death, and that trauma looks like this or could look like this or look like that. How do we be mission minded even for the person who's sitting in the row next to us? And so those are good opportunities for children to sort of literally walk, literally and figuratively, hand in hand with someone and come alongside someone in order to share in their anguish and share the light of God with them. I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you to Mama Sarlene. Am I saying it right, Sarlene?
Sarlene. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mama Sarlene. I'll see you at convention. I'll give you a hug. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sister Charlene Johnson. Yes, we were talking about the sharing of the resident that was drug free for 88 days. And, I hope that, I guess, lastly, and I'm sure this was said, that when you leave Winston-Salem, these people are still here dealing with this situation. Keep them on your mind when you pray or when you think about, or hey, next time you consider possibly picking up something, remember this story.
Right.
Remember this story. Don't be on the other side of that. Thank you. So, and Sister Carolyn Thompson, thanks so much for leaving such a powerful impact.
Amen.
Beautiful. Hard work putting back into the youth. Excellent, excellent. All right, we're going to move on to, we stuck on question number 1. That's fine. That's fine. And thank you for all the people who are asking questions and or are dropping in comments. We really appreciate it to kind of keep the conversation going and flowing. So actually, the next part of the reflection was inspiring stories from the seminar that demonstrates generational impact, which is really what we're talking about. So prior to us coming on live, we were having a pre-chat, and I said we were talking about, let's say, vacation options, right? Vacation options, and why would someone choose the mission field, and like what is said or what is done or what is taught to share that missions, yes, could be across the street, across town, across the state, but it's also across the world. And how do we teach young people how to live in community, how to be aware of community, and that getting on a plane could be you going to X place to go on vacation. But let's add on that getting on a plane and taking your vacation time could be doing some mission work. How do you transfer? How do you drop that seed? How do you plant that seed into their minds?
The first thing I think about too, even after we were talking, I think about empowering youth. I remember when Lott Carey was my first real understanding and experience with missions, but I remember feeling that I had the efficacy to make a change in the world. And so once I knew I could make a difference, there was something inside of me, like this fire inside of me that's like, I can actually do this, and I could do it my way. And it would still be effective. It would still be impactful. So I think a lot of times we have to expose youth to the opportunity to make a difference. And when you do that, even on a smaller scale, then their desire to do it on a greater scale grows. And so we see a lot of children who realize, like, hey, I did when we went to Lott Carey, we gleaned. And I'm from Philly, so we didn't know anything about gleaning down south when we went to Shaw. But it was in the beginning, we were like, why would we be doing this? Right? Like, why would we glean? Why are we in the fields, picking? We're like, we don't want to pick cotton.
What we doing here? Ain't this
here
for the slaves?
And right. That's where we were fussing. We were fussing all the way to the fields, actually. And then you get there and you're picking the fields and the harvest, and then you hear how much, right? How many pounds of collard greens, how many pounds of corn and string beans, and they tell you how it impacts. I think that something in your mind shifts, something changes there. And so then when you see the impact that you had in this place, you have the desire to want to do it elsewhere. When you learn, okay, we help make the connection. A lot of things is making the connection. When you learn that, hey, Sincere, when you learn that, hey, being a Christian is more than going to church. Being a Christian is more than just a hashtag. It's not an aesthetic. Being a Christian is work. Being a Christian is making sure that people are cared for. And when you start to build that mindset in youth, they are going to start to think of ways to give back. And then we don't want to, again, I'm really big on helping people understand that these are not experiences, right? Like our faith is not just a conglomerate of events that we have in life, right? These events are supposed to then push us and fuel us to do more each and every day. And so when we spend time in the Word of God, when we spend time really allowing ourselves to be transformed, we even start to think about how we have fun. We even start to think about, okay, am I just worried about myself, right? Or am I worried about other people? And when you just have that mindset, and when that's a lifestyle, inevitably, right? I know people, and I've had experiences where it's like, okay, I'm going to go here, but while I'm here, right? If I am, we're talking about Bali, right? If I am in Bali, is there something I could do? Is there a morning that I could give back to the community that I am enjoying the culture of? A lot of it also is to give opportunity, to give the resources. Generations, millennials and down, we don't have that. We're not living in the same world with as much financial assets as other generations may have, or we're still kind of growing into being able to have that financial asset. So it would be great if older adults begin to sponsor youth, begin to say, hey, you know what, you have the strength. How about I put my dollars behind you? And I may not be able to go and paint a house. I might not be able to go and physically build, but I have the resources to make sure that you're able to go do that. So some intergenerational partnership which says, hey, you have the wisdom and you have the money and I have the heart and I have the strength, and making sure that you are able to go out in that way. I was talking to you about this new alternative spring break that has taken over nationally, which I love, where college students, instead of going on a trip for their spring break or just coming home and relaxing with their friends, they are intentional about different community service opportunities to go out and help people in different places. And so their spring break is not a break for them. Their spring break is actually an opportunity to go out and provide for those who are less fortunate. And I hope they answered your question. I feel like I was probably rambling a little bit.
No. You're absolutely, you're on point. You're on point. I was actually going to, oh, you know what? I actually have to bring up something. Sorry, Sister Lynette. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm so sorry. It came through so fast. Let me go back. So Sister Lynette Richardson, right? First Vice President. She says she has a granddaughter who is in her third year at Bowie State University who is interested in hooking up with the emerging leaders and even some short mission immersions. All right. We got another mission-minded person. I love it. Thank you, Sister Lynette. All right, we're gonna make that connection.
Yeah, so we will make that connection. So for the emergent and the short missions immersion, that is a I don't know why I can't think of the word. An initiative that Lott Carey is forming that is coming out of another sector of Lott Carey, so it's not technically going to be housed under the IYD team. However, Lott Carey is working on providing short-term mission opportunities for young adults.
Yes, excellent. Okay, our president of WISE is here. Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Brenda. We appreciate it. We appreciate you greatly. All right, and then there's one more that came through. Hear me being producer. Okay, here we go. Sister Frances Brown. My child is still talking about her experience. So glad she had the opportunity. Sister Frances Brown. Listen, if you want to come on and chat with us, let me know. I will send you the link. I was trying to get Reverend Brittany, bring some people who are there. Come on, let's hear from the streets. Let me hear from the streets. Okay, wait. Thank you. Oh, wait. So, Sister Veronica Waddy, thank you. I'm so glad you came on the YouTube side. I appreciate you. Dr. Brenda, Intergenerational Partnership. Excellent. Wait, Carolyn Thompson. Great. Come on, Sister Frances.
I told you people shy.
I don't bite. We're digital. We will make sure that you do well. Listen, I've had some tough characters sitting on this couch with me, and by the end of the conversation, you're like, wow, that was easy. I thought I was going to trip over my words, and we wound up laughing. It can happen. We can do it. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. So I definitely just wanted to pop back in, in like middle school, high school, there's more of an effort to students to have, and I'm not really sure what the phrase is, but let's say community service hours, and that they need a number of hours in order. Now, I know in New York City specifically, that you need a number of community service hours in order to graduate. Good. So it's actually easier for the church and the church community to parallel, to mimic, to embody that same mindset in order to say, hey, there are, let's say, local mission, and for the most part we are. Okay, wait. Okay, Sister Frances, I'm gonna send you a message. Wait. You can represent for Enon. My daughter's here and can share as well. Fabulous. Okay, so I'm gonna do something I've never done before. I'm actually going to put the link into the YouTube chat. Anyone who is here only, blink, can actually use. Okay, I will block you in the name of Jesus. No, can you use that link, and you'll show up in the background, and then we can come on and chat. So I'm going to do that in a minute. Thank you very much. But the community service hours, in order to embody your full matriculation through the high school process, is key. And then in college, I'm really, really excited and thankful that sometimes, depending on your your course of study, depending on your major, there might be some
Right.
either local or research, community involvement, study, international work that you may do. I know my college has like study away, teach away, right? There's a professor who's doing some research. They're going to go to another country. You could do, like you said, like a break, a summer, or maybe even the semester, right? You do a semester and you go study in this other country. And that is a beautiful opportunity. But for those people who may not necessarily have that mission mindedness within their course of study, which now I really believe that more, even if you're in the sciences or in technology or even in literature, there are more ways and more opportunities for, I think it's in my college, it's called CISLA. It's, like just doing some study in another country, to integrate whatever you're looking at and look at it from a global perspective, because we're trying to get people to know you're not just here in the US. You're going to meet with people everywhere, get to know them before you have to live amongst them, and they live amongst you before you decide to go live amongst them. Help them out. So, okay. So I'm going to give you the last question while I go get the link and drop it in the chat. And then people can click on that link and pop in, and I'll give you a little glow up before you show up. Somebody could use that. Okay. So here's the last question. So it's the intersection of youth empowerment and why is this theme of women's leadership and global mission. So I think this is an easy segue. How are we not just introducing mission work and leadership into young people, but also doing it from the perspective of we are under the umbrella of Lott Carey. We are under the umbrella of global missions. How do we translate that into bite-sized and crumb-sized nibbles? For young people to think about themselves as not just leaders in their own school and class and block, but also leaders, which is probably what you had talked about in the beginning, into the global atmosphere. And I'm going to put myself on mute so I can do this link share.
Okay, I just want to ask a clarifying question. So you're asking, how do we ensure that our youth go back and they're operating as leaders in their spaces, in their respective spaces?
Yes. And how do they stay in Lott Carey to grow themselves through? Because we are noticing, and this comes from our executive secretary treasurer, our president, on through, not necessarily down, but through, that there is this, we got them as young people coming through, the young folks of Lott Carey, the children, and then we get them to IYD, and then there's like a poof, you're gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to create another layer of leadership. What kind of seeds are we planting to get them not just to enjoy now, but to stay and not have that poof, you're gone, no stay.
Right.
That's what we're looking for.
I think in terms of that, it's very important to create the space. And so hope, there's a space created for hope, which is for the younger children. There is a space created for the IYD, which is teens. There is a space created for emerging leaders. And in these spaces, when we are consistent, it's thriving. So now we have to create a space for that age. Once you hit 25, once you hit 26, what is here for me? We have to create that space. We have to give that age group voice, because this is not just, I don't want to say this is a Lott Carey thing, but a lot of times what we see is that often we want young adults to be involved. And we want young adults to be involved in the way that we desire for them to be involved, or in the way that's conducive to what the organization wants. And sometimes young adults can feel like they're only used as bodies. And so we want you for a photo op, or we want to be able to say that you are here, but they might not feel like they have a voice, or they might not feel as if they're able to contribute or be heard. And so I think that if we create a space that says, hey, we still value you, we still want you, but also we see the gifting that you have. We see the resources and the wisdom that you bring in your younger years. And we invite that here to also help contribute to the shifting of an organization. It's a human thing. When you are involved in something, you want to feel as if you have a say. You want to feel as if your voice is being heard, as if you have an impact. And so it's really important that we just don't invite the 25 to 35 or 40, whatever age you want to create for the young adults, that we don't just invite them as bodies, but we really look at them holistically and comprehensively as leaders, and with a firm understanding that and everybody's not called to lead, right? I do want to say that everyone's not called to lead. So I'm not saying, every young adult that wants to be involved in Lott Carey, give them a position. No, I'm not saying that. But everyone does want to feel involved. Everyone does want to feel a part. And so allowing young adults to be in the space, to be a part, and to have an experience that speaks to who they are, not to where past generations were at their age, not to and not looping them in and just merging them in with youth because they're not youth, but just creating that space and that opportunity and thinking about, hey, what does it look like for a 30-year-old to be mission minded? What does it look like for someone in their late 20s to give leadership and giving room? Everyone wants to feel involved. And so if we're building a house and, I have a hammer, you have a speckle, this person is over here, sawing things. And then we have a group and it's just like, just watch.
Right.
Nobody wants to be a spectator. And so if I just got to watch you build the house, I'm going to go somewhere else that lets me be involved in the building, maybe even lets me help create the blueprint. Right. So we just have to make sure that we are not just asking that generation to just show up so that we can say that they're there, but saying show up because you have a seat at the table. And you don't have to be at the head of the table, right? But you do have a seat at the table. You do have a voice. Because I don't think that it's true to say that, my generation or the generations who are coming behind us do not have a heart for missions and do not have a heart for God. I think that is an inaccurate statement. I think that our generations are looking to be included, right? And there is a different, we talk about the difference between, diversity and inclusion, right? Diversity is saying, okay, when we walk into this room, we have people from different age groups, people from different backgrounds. We have male and female. We have different intelligences. That's diversity, saying that everybody's in the room. But inclusion is basically saying everyone who is in the room has a voice, right? You're not just in the room just to be able to be counted off as check, we have a girl, check, we have a boy, check, we have a Black person, check, we have a white person. Now we're going to allow you and all of what makes you have a voice. And so I think that that's something that we need to be mindful of if we do want to keep someone who's in Lott Carey. And the beauty of the youth, the hope in IYD is that kids have a voice, right? So we're not dictating to them what they do. They're telling us. And then we're creating the space for them. So when you go through that from whatever age to 25, and then you hit a brick wall, that could be a little discouraging. So I think a big thing we need to do is create the space.
Excellent. All right, are we ready, people? We have guests. Guests are coming over. Yes, let's make room on the couch right there. Hello, greetings. So to Sister Frances Brown and Sister Sincere Blackwell, I need you to put your mic on. I pray that you're going to show up because you're going to show up. Let's get ready. Okay. Greetings, Sister Sincere and Sister Frances Brown. I know you can. Hi, good evening.
All right. I'm going to come over, but I want to give a disclaimer. This was beach day for us, so we are not our best right now.
You have sand between your toes. That's okay. Hi. Hi. Welcome to the
Thank you. I wanted to share that Again, I'm very excited for the opportunity that my daughter had. I was supposed to attend as a chaperone, but I'm also excited that we had some separation and that she was able to, do something alone, and come back and share with me. And I have been sharing with Brittany Mingo and Mom Star this week all of the things she's been sharing with me. So I kind of feel like I was there, and she's been returned as a new child. The first night that she returned back, she wants to now, like, the Lott Carey in August, like, like, what am I doing for there? And you got to sign me up and all of this kind of stuff. And I'm like, wait, slow down, like, what happened? But she really did have a good time, so I'm going to let her share really quick about her experience.
Hi. Hello, welcome.
Hi. Okay, so my experience, I love making new friends. It was a very big environment, It helped me step out my comfort zone. Wait, can she hear me?
Yes, she can.
Wait, what's your name?
Oh, Cameron, I'm sorry.
Good evening, Cameron. Welcome.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Digital Couch. It's our first young person on the Digital Couch. Wonderful. Go ahead.
Okay, but yes, it helped me step out my comfort zone and I made new friends. And also my favorite thing was the missions, because not everybody is as fortunate as us, to give back. It really helped, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Mom, when Cameron comes to Lott Carey, please, if you don't see me, or I mean, if I don't see you first, you see me, definitely we need to get a hug. We need to give a shout out, give a high five, because your daughter is the first young person on the digital. We look forward to continued amazing opportunities.
Definitely. Thank you for having us.
Wait, don't leave. Don't, you can put yourself on mute, but don't leave
Okay.
because we're gonna take a little group picture, okay?
Okay.
Hold on. All right. So Sincere, brother Sincere, are you there? Hey, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Hey, Reverend Brittany. About my experience. Truly was life changing. Learned a lot about what ministry really was, and before I even had left to go take the experience at Lott Carey, I was of course prepped and trained about what the work of Christ is really about, and what my youth leader told me was that it's about going out, and how church is just supposed to charge us and sharpen us because iron sharpen iron. So she had prepped me to, I wasn't prepared for some of the stuff, but I got prepared. Wasn't prepared to be out at 11. It was worth it.
Wait, you mean 11 a.m. or 11 p.m.?
PM.
Oh.
It was good though. It was good. I enjoyed myself.
Y'all was hanging out doing ministry work, of course.
Yeah. That was around bedtime for me. But yes.
Wait a minute. What? Wait. Now I can ask this question because it's not a person asking an older question. What grade are you in?
I am going to the 11th.
Oh, okay. All right, talking about being in bed at 11 o'clock. All right, good, because I'm a teacher, so I'm like, I like to hear that, right? But that's exciting. Okay, so let me ask you this question, and we're going to start to wrap up. But now, child, I feel like I could be here for like another whole half hour. What was, did you go with, I think it was Sister Eileen? Which sort of like mission experience did you go to? Did you speak to the person who is like 88 days clean? Did you do the food prep?
We all did the food prep, but we had went to our mission was to go to Sunnyside Ministry and help them a lot there.
What was that?
So we folded clothes. We did which was a spiritual thing for me. I started crying at the part of the mission was when we was storing stuff in the refrigerator. So yeah, it was amazing.
Wait, why was that a tearjerker for you?
The main reason because about the story in the book of John, I believe. The blood of Jesus. It was stuff that he was reminding me while I was, because I had started doing community service at such a young age, because that was a part of my training as a young person, as a youth leader and all of that. So I had started then, and then I had stopped for a while, and then going back into that was like God really showed me the main reason why I had did that so young as a child, even if I didn't know the reason. And it just was like, it was like I had to experience that. And he broke me. So yeah.
Young man, I need to give you a hug when I see you. You make this all worth it. You make this all worth it. This is exactly what we're here to do, to try to get younger generations to have the heart and the mission mind. And oh my gosh. Wait. I think you got some. Wait, you got people who are like, wait, look. Did you sing? Did you?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot. You're not gonna sing it here, okay? But when I see you,
Okay.
when I see you, okay. All right, hold on. And you were fellowshipping. Oh, that's what y'all were doing at 11.
Yes, ma'am.
She was enjoying. Oh, okay. So that was Cameron. Got it. Wait. Okay, hold on. Karen Thompson, this is a great discussion. Have to no problem. Thank you, Sis Karen. Okay, wait. Okay, good. I am so like overly blessed from this. I literally have a tear like welling up. Just so Cameron, you can now come back on the camera just for a quick second, if you don't mind. We can take like a little screenshot, just a little screen. You okay? You don't have sand in your hair. It's fine. Okay.
Okay.
We have to memorialize this moment. Are you kidding? Y'all are the first two young people on a digital couch.
And can I say something before we take the picture about these two? They are a symbol, right? A representation of the full group. But what's powerful about these two is that so Cameron is a youth at Enon. So she's from Enon. So I know Cameron prior to coming to youth seminar. And Cameron is involved in church, but she's involved in our AV ministry. She volunteers with Bible Zone. But Cameron does not sing on the choir, and she is not a dancer. At Lott Carey, we had Lott Carey Got Talent, which they were all able to minister to each other in a variety of different ways. And that night, Cameron, for the first time, I saw her sing on a choir, and I saw her dance, as well as other children and youth who came. So I think that speaks to the power of just the environment and the energy and the spirit of Lott Carey, where kids can come. And even though they don't do something that they normally do at their home church, they come and they feel like, okay, in this space, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to serve the Lord in a different way. And Sincere, there was a portion in which children were able to take the focal scripture and then give a sermonette or address the rest of the group in Sincere. I said, boy, you done preached your trial sermon. He really gave us the word, and it was so insightful and encouraging. And so that's really what I love. You have youth who come to Lott Carey, and they're not the same, and they're trying new things, and they're bold, and they're courageous, and they feel like this is the space to do so. So then when they go home, you have parents like Francis who says, my child is not the same. The child I sent away 4 days ago is coming back differently. And so it's not just an event, it is a transformational experience that really helps with the spiritual formation of youth.
Okay, wait, we got some, hold on. Mama Sarlene. Okay, right? Wait, okay. So look, Brother Sincere, we're gonna need to hear some bars when we get to convention. Okay, we're gonna need to hear some bars, all right? And did anybody record the message? Is it on the IG somewhere? Like, where's the message? Sincere, we look. Wait, if I have to, I'll bring my mic. Don't play with me, okay? I'm just saying, yes, and definitely we are all proud. Let's listen. We need to get some finger claps in the chat. Y'all kind of roll in the comments, finger clap, something, little clap emojis, heart, something to show these young people. Okay, so let me take this down. We're going to do a little. It don't matter if we got sand in the hair. We're going to take a little picture. Hold on, just put on the best smile. Yay! We got it. I am so overly blessed. I'm going to put this up on the Lott Carey Wise Salt. That means y'all have to come over to Lott Carey Wise Salt. Tell your friends. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Come on through. Oh, see, look. We got some heart. What? We got some hearts. I love it. So, yeah. Oh, I love it. Wait, now y'all rolling in the comments. See, I love people who like follow directions. Thank you, Sister Anita. Mama Sarlene. There we go. We got the hearts. Thank you, Dr. Brenda. Yes. Truly a blessing. Use it, promote, and introduce others to IYD. I love it. Tell our president he needs to make sure he watches this one. I love it. Excellent. So let me end. I'm just so blessed. I'm like more than blessed as a result of like asking. So this will probably be like a new layer to the digital couch. Anybody want to bring on a friend, a loved one, a partner in the crusade, not a partner in crime, but a partner in the crusade. I just made that one up. Look at that. So thank you, Sister Cameron. Thank you, Brother Sincere. I appreciate you. If you have to go out and like, I don't know, get ready for whatever y'all doing tomorrow, help the family with the grill. Okay. Help the family with the grill, please. And thank you. But if y'all have to go, we do appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us as we wrap this up. Please, I beg. If y'all are coming to convention, please let me find you. Look for us so we can like, Sister Cameron, we gonna sing. Okay, Brother Sincere, we gonna sing. We got to do a little two-step. We can remake something. We can do something. We can do this. All right.
Thank you.
Peace and blessings to you all. Young people, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. God bless you all. Thank you for sharing your ministries.
Thank you.
This was so amazing. Reverend Brittany, you have done your work. You have done your work. Wait, we have a couple of other people. Thank you, Sister Elizabeth. Amen. What a wonderful God we served. She stepped out and gave her best. Okay. Now I got to see the pictures. Let her get permission, but I want to see some pictures. All right. Dr. Brenda, sharing with other youth leaders in our area. Amazing. Thank you, Brother Douglas. And thank you, Sincere. Thank you. All right. So this has been really like an amazing session right before a special day that some people in the country consider monumental. I pray that every single person understands the true meaning of tomorrow as we roll into tomorrow. And let's relish in the fact that our freedom comes from above. Amen. On that note, on that note, Reverend Brittany, I really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me
on the digital couch. This has been your first. It will not be your last. Because now we got to bring more young people back. Yes. Okay, we're gonna have like a little digital party on the. So listen, God bless every single person who has joined us tonight. I have a feeling there's probably more people on the Facebook side. I put my phone down, so I don't even know who showed up on Facebook. There's a couple people on Facebook. Yep, there we go. I'll shout out later. But good night, everyone. We have one more session before we get to annual session. As I said, if you did not, I have to stand up for this one. Because it is Thursdays in Black. I apologize. I was so excited to have Reverend Brittany. It is Thursdays in Black. I put on the I'm Lott Carey shirt, right? It's Thursdays in Black. Listen, let me lean in for this. If you were watching television this afternoon, yeah. On that note, we are also going to be focusing on rich Christians in an age of hunger. All right. Get your book. Make sure you sign up for the classes that you're going to participate in. And now that we've heard from our young people about the mission experiences that they've had, if you are able to go, out into the field and get the boots on the ground, do so. If not, we look forward to seeing you, at the prayer part where you're going to support from your seat, lifting up the energy so that we can all get out there and do the things. And let's just get ready to be mission minded, of course. All right. So peace and blessings. This is, again, very, very exciting. I will see you all. Reverend Brittany, please give us like a last word, a last, thing to leave with about the IYD work and what we can see in the next couple of weeks and months.
So the IYD work is real, and it did not begin with my team and I. It is a long legacy of people dedicated to pouring into the lives of young people. I would not be where I am today or who I am today in ministry if it had not been for, my parents, my home church, Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Alan E. Waller, and being introduced to Lott Carey. I was a youth. My first time at Lott Carey, I was 14 years old.
Who's your leader?
I'm sorry.
Who was your leader?
Miss Tanya, my mom. We had a bunch of chaperones. Miss Tanya, my mom. It was a big group. When we got to Lott Carey, I'm not sure. I don't think they were called IYD team lead, but Reverend Dr. Amanda Haynes.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Mandy was the one leading the show. Trevor and Camille as well, and it was my first time I participated in an oratorical contest at Lott Carey. I had never done it before. They gave the opportunity in the space to say, if this is something you guys want to do. I participated in the oratorical contest. And unbeknownst to me, Lott Carey would become something so near and dear to my heart. I heard my call to preach at Lott Carey, Winston Salem University. Yes, I heard my call. I love telling the story. So I'm going to always tell the story. I heard my call to preach at Lott Carey at Winston Salem. And so to be back at Winston Salem, leading as the IYD team leader, as an ordained minister of the gospel, it's really personal to me, and I know the power of God. I know the power of missions, and I know how God uses the organization Lott Carey to change lives. And so it works. It works. The gospel works. Missions work, and we just need to stay faithful to that. And really, I'm from Philly. I'm a Philly girl, home of the Super Bowl champions. Jalen Hurts, we keep the main thing the main thing. We keep the main thing the main thing, and just do what God calls us to do. And we're going to, right? There will be Camerons and Sinceres who years later will be leaders, and they will be able to say how impactful Lott Carey was for their spiritual formation. And so, we just have to do the work, support the work, pray for our youth, encourage our youth, give them a voice and give them opportunity and exposure. And the kingdom is going to be all right. The kingdom is going to be all right because they are powerful and they are capable and they're on fire for God. So,
on that note, God bless you all. Reverend Mingo, I'll see you in a second. I will say farewell just for a couple of weeks. Again, if you were not blessed by this, please share this, whether you're going to share it from the Lott Carey Facebook, Wise Facebook, which I think is a closed group. So share the YouTube link on Lott Carey TV. Please like, subscribe, and set your notifications, because even though we are here on the Lott Carey Wise Digital Couch on the first Thursday of every month, you never know, we may pop in and have another little surprise. So please set your notifications. I am so overly blessed by this conversation tonight. I do pray that you are as well. And again, get your book, get registered, get your bags packed. Again, whether you're going to drive, take the train. I'm coming from Brooklyn. I am driving. That's going to be interesting. And we're going to have a good time. So looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Peace and blessings, and stay mission minded, because that's what we're here to do. Have a good night, everyone.